Welcome back to S'ak Pase With Sophonie, the podcast formerly known as the Haitian American Dream, where we discuss the beauty, the flaws, and all of Haitian culture. So pull up a chair, grab some cremas, cola la caille, or grenadier, because it's time to tune in. S'ak Pase tout le monde. Welcome back to, I almost said the Haitian American Dream. Welcome back to S'ak Pase With Sophonie. It's your girl Sophonie, aka Sophie, aka Soso, aka Miss Royale, aka I got many monikers, but it's the same old host. How is everyone doing? I hope that you all are enjoying your new year. I'm over here jamming out to one of my favorite compas songs. Hey, whoosh, Gite compa mache, woo, bayala douce, hey, poseo. Poseo. All right. Whew. It's been about a week since we last spoke, and I'm so excited to be back with you all. I hope that you enjoyed the last episode. Okay, and if you haven't listened to it, I don't know why you're listening to this one. It's supposed to go in order 2.1, then 2.2. Okay, so take it easy, take it back. Okay, move yourself. Welcome, bienvenue, but you need to go back, take it back. Okay. So, last episode, what did we do last episode? So, episode 2.1, which was the first episode of season 2, which was called, Parlez vite, parlez chaud, which for my Haitians out there who are Creole speakers, you know, Parlez vite, parlez chaud basically means speak fast, speak hot. That, once again, like I always say, Creole translated into English most of the time sounds kind of crazy. But parlez vite, parlez chaud. Talk fast, talk hot. So like say what you're saying and say it quickly, get it out the way. We don't have time. And that's what it was about. That episode was just introducing this season's theme, which is difficult conversations. As I mentioned in the last episode, this entire season is dedicated to that. I'm someone who loves to talk and communicate about different things. I really don't know why I didn't go into communications or TV and media when I was in college, but you know, we all make mistakes. Let me stop. No, I love psychology. Like I still love it. That's a big part of me, which is why I have this podcast. I feel like it's one of my ways to be able to still implement what I learned in the mental health profession and still have fun, enjoy my culture and all that. So yeah. Alrighty. So this episode, I'm like so excited because this is a topic that I feel like a lot of people like to avoid and they try to just sweep it around, like go around the bush with it, especially when it comes to like parents, especially Haitian parents, especially, but it's something we need to talk about. Okay. But before we really get into that, let's go ahead to the Menjas La section. Bienvenue to the Menjas La section. Do y'all like that? Should I like create a little song for this part, right? Before the song comes up. No, y'all don't like, that's fine. It's okay if you don't like it. That's, you know, pas de problème. Vous comprenez? C'est pas tout bail moun après, mais on comprend moi. Doc. Anyways, all right. So the Menjas La section. Matter of fact, remember how last episode I told you guys, for this section of this season, it's going to be as a music feature, but it's a paid music feature. So if you want your song featured in this section of the show, please contact me on social media. For a 30-second clip, it's $15. For 1 minute, $25. And for it to be featured on my social media page as well, it's $35. Okay. And like I told you all already, this is actually a very affordable, deal essentially, because there are a lot of people who are charging like way more. They charge like every 15 per viewer or whatever the case might be. So this is just me, you know, giving you all a chance to get your music out there. It's not that expensive. If I really vibe with it, like I said last time, I'll make a video. I'll post it on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I have 3 Instagrams. So, but I would post it on 2 because one of them is my business Instagram. But like I said, 30-second clip, $15, 1 minute, $25. For it to be on my social media page is $35. You can contact me on Instagram at justsophonie, JUSTSOPHONIE. Podcast is THAD.podcast. Alrighty, let's go ahead and move on to the Menjas La section.
Mercredi, moi, croisé, fait connaissance, nous parler. Jeudi, m'y est invité dans le restaurant, aller manger. Vendredi, nous planifier, samedi, bagaille tombé. Dimanche, t'en fais caresser, moi, t'es bien attaché. Lundi, téléphone, elle y pas répondre. fe cherche li gen telefon. Den sin telefon el li pa repon. Li gen telefon, li pa repon.
Hey. Ma divine femme chérie moi.
C'est où ma prétend.
Ma divine femme chérie moi.
Non, c'est pas bon.
Okay, so the name of that song is Vin Prom, which means come pick me up or come get me, by Badi Kamal, which is spelled Badikkamall. Okay, Vin Prom, Vinpranm. So that's the Majazla for the day. Don't want to be playing people's songs for too long. Y'all can go listen to it. It's available on Tidal and Spotify, I believe, on iTunes and SoundCloud. I would assume. I haven't checked it before, but I'm pretty sure it is. Or you can find it on YouTube. Anyways, stream the song, support Haitian artists. About De Secks. Like I said, if you want your song featured, hit your girl up. Alrighty, so we're gonna go ahead and move on to our update chat. So update chat, I feel like I really don't have much to update you guys on. Like, we just spoke last week. The new year, I would say, has been going pretty spectacular so far. I'm loving it. Anyways, so yeah, I really don't have much to update you guys on. So aside from like just continuing with my full-time job right now, my temporary job, which we're still trying to figure out if they're going to extend the contract, which is kind of weird, but I guess I could update y'all about that, but I don't really feel like getting into too much details. But anyways, y'all pray for me though. I really do hope I'm able to keep that job for like a good minute, just so I can be able to stack my paper and do what I need to do. I've been trying to put myself more out there. I did a little skit or whatever. I think I said that in the last episode, but anywho, I want to do more skits and like get more involved in like the Haitian comedy community. Like, I don't feel like I'm like the funniest, but I feel like I am, pretty entertaining when it comes to like comedy. I just feel like for me, I'm afraid to like fully jump into comedy because I'm a creative writer, right? But writing comedy is not something I've really like tried or really, I have tried it and it wasn't bad, but it's just like, I don't know. I feel like it's something I would have to really work on even harder than some of the things that just comes kind of more naturally to me. So that is one thing that I'm working on. I've connected with a few people, one of my friends who's a comedian on Instagram and another one as well. And they're just like, look, I got you if you need help with anything or whatever. So shout out to them. Shout out to Ton Son. Let me make sure I'm saying their correct handles because, I have so many handles. How am I supposed to remember everyone else's? A mess. Anyways, so let me make sure. But yeah, so Ton, TON_INOSAN. Make sure y'all go follow him. He's hilarious. I'm pretty sure most people have already know who he is and you follow him. But yeah, we went to high school together. That's a homie. And he was just like, yo, like, if you need help with anything, I got you. I'm like, yes, it's lit. And then Mark Brianville, I hope I'm saying his name right, MarcBrianville. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm having such a hard time today spelling. I don't know what's happening. Like, I feel like I'm always spelling on this show and I'll just be stuttering. All right, let's try that again. Mark, MarcBrian, BrianVille, Mark Brianville. Anyways, so I was just trying to say before I got really interrupted by my own stuttering, and these are some people who are like super dope in the Haitian comedy community on Instagram, and I just appreciate them extending like, their well wishes and, appreciate that they don't mind helping me out. So your girl's gonna be in the bag just working on her stuff, trying to get it together, and hopefully some collabos and other stuff can happen. So that's pretty much what I would say is my update chat for you all. But yeah, so let's move along because I really just want to get to the topic, to be honest, today. So for the Haitian of the day, today's Haitian of the day is Mrs. Wanda from La Union Suite. And I feel like I've definitely shouted her out multiple times, but I don't care. I don't give a damn. When I see someone doing a good job, I must say that they are doing a good job. Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to give Mrs. Wanda another shout out. I cannot do the Haitian accent for too long. My mouth be like, what is happening? Anyways, so I am just super, super proud of her and all of her accomplishments. I'm like literally her little cousin in my head. Like, she's my big cousin in my head, which because basically all my cousins are popping. Well, my siblings too are all popping, but my family is just popping in general. So I just feel like she's like an extended family member through social media. Anyways, so she is the owner of La Union Suites, which is a blog that is actually, she has one of the biggest, I would say actually literally the number one Haitian American platform, or just Haitian platform in general right now as far as social media goes. And I just think she's doing an awesome job. And I saw actually she was recently on a Forbes article, which was called Rewriting Haiti's Narrative, 10 Haitian entrepreneurs helping to reinvent their nation. Y'all, I'm really having a problem today with spelling and speaking. What is happening? How I'm going to be a podcast host? So anyways, it was a super dope article showcasing some other amazing Haitians as well, who are entrepreneurs, who are, doing nonprofit organizations, all these different efforts to basically just uplift the culture and the people and just essentially rewrite our narrative, which I am a super big advocate for that. This is why I want my platform to at least have one platform dedicated to Haitian American culture, well, Haitian culture in general, it kind of might be geared towards more Haitian Americans, but at the same time, it doesn't matter. You across the diaspora, obviously this podcast is dedicated to you as well. Anyways, like I said, I just want to give Mrs. Wanda a big shout out because, when it comes to Haitian culture, like for example, this is going to be a perfect example, which I guess I'm thanking God I had to record this episode again because of, issues before. Yesterday, this platform, I'm not going to say the name of it because they don't need any more attention, but they posted some wild stuff about Haitian food. Mind you, it's a food page and they post like, countries around the world. They post their dishes, their cuisine, and like just displaying, oh, how beautiful this, for example, this country has, look at their food. Then they posted something about mud cookies. Well, when I tell you, Haitian, yo di, no papite yo dormi aswe, na foot me defend about we start, people start commenting. I start going in. People start posting things and like commenting on them, putting the Haitian flag under them, like, yo, y'all need to take this off, all this stuff. And eventually it finally got taken off by Instagram later on that night. And from what I could see on Instagram, it seems that La Union Suite was actually one of the ones who kind of connected to the people they know and like that. I don't think it was just, obviously it wasn't just them. It was a lot of people. We just came, basically, it was literally La Union fait la force. We came together and that's it. That's all I knew. So I say all that to say, number one, when we're unified, there's nothing that we cannot do. I'm going to say that again. When we are actually unified, there's nothing that we cannot do. And we saw this with Haitian independence, which is why I'm a huge advocate for us to just, be more cohesive and really work together, because that's literally the only way we're going to be able to rewrite our narrative and uplift our people and become better overall. So like I said, I'm giving her the biggest shout out because her platform has grown exponentially throughout the years, and it's basically given a lot of other Haitians a voice and given us more confidence, I would say, to speak up and speak out and just, be who we are, be the creatives that we were meant to be the entrepreneurs that we want to be. And it's just a very inspirational platform in general. And so, like I said, I'm a huge advocate when it comes to rewriting the narrative of Haiti, of Black people overall, across the diaspora, of African descent, etc. Everyone. Tout moun noir, depuis gen African, gen sang African nan kou, I'm your advocate. I'm one of your biggest advocates, unless you're doing some fuck shit. But anyways, so like I said, shout out to Mrs. Wanda for continuously allowing us to be able to rewrite the narrative of Haiti and of what it means to be a Haitian. I think she is one of the number one Haitians in media, if not the number one. There are a few other people as well, so I'm not like trying to like put anyone above anyone else, but it's just like, to me, like the way she does it, I'm like, wow, I would have never thought to do it the way she did it, and it's amazing. And I just really wish we could have seen more of this while we were growing up, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. Like we can't change that. It is what it is. So that's that. Shout out to Mrs. Wanda once again. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and take a very, very quick break and introduce our number one sponsor of the show, Splendid Writing Services. So stay tuned. I'll be right back with you all.
Are you looking for a new job? Making a shift in your career? Or maybe you're looking into going back to school? No matter what it is, you need a way to turn your words into splendor. Splendid Writing Services is here to cater to all of your writing needs, from resumes, cover letters, editing, proofreading, even transcribing audio. For more information, contact at Splendid Writing Services on Instagram or email she.is.splendidblog@gmail.com. Let us help you turn your words and thoughts into splendor.
And we're back. So today's episode is probably going to be actually one of my personal favorites. You may be asking why. Well, I'll tell you, duh. That's why I'm here. So we're discussing a topic that sells, a topic that brought us all here, a topic. Okay, that's enough. Look, let's talk about it. You want to know what we're going to talk about? Baby, let's talk about it. Alrighty. So we're going to be talking about de secks. This episode is all about de secks. Okay? Do you know what de secks is? We're talking about the birds and the bees. How do you say bees in Creole? Now I gotta Google that. I know bird is oiseau, so we're talking about this oiseau and the anyway. Google Translate. Yes, I'm a thoroughbred Haitian American that did not learn how to spell in Creole. Up in church, we did, we used to be reading the Sunday spells and all that stuff, but, wait, how do you say meal? I don't know how to say this in Creole. I looked it up, but y'all don't know how to say it. Anyways, my whole point is, I didn't learn formally how to write and spell in Creole. I know how to, but it's just kind of like something I'm like, I'm not comfortable or confident with yet. I'm still working on that. So anyways, we are now in our quick cock section of the show, which, as I told you all before, quick cock is a call and response, which is basically saying, like you're inviting someone to a story. Okay, so that's basically what it is. Okay, so we're talking about des oiseaux and the miel or miel. I don't know. Birds and the bees, aka the sex talk. So I did a little digging and I found out something that to me was bizarre. Okay, not bizarre, bizarre. Apparently Haitian parents don't talk to their kids about sex, and I think this is a problem. I know that for some people, they might be like, okay, that's not a problem. What's the point of talking about that? Your kids shouldn't have to know about that. But honestly, after doing the research that I did, it is a very, very important thing, I believe, especially as Haitian parents, that we need to talk to our kids about. Well, I'm not a Haitian parent, I'm a Haitian aunt. But anyways, I just really, truly believe it's something that's important because, yes, a lot of Haitian parents don't talk to their kids about sex, or they do, or they just try to scare them away from it. But here's what I found out. That has not stopped the Haitian youth from engaging in these sexual activities behind their parents' back. So would you rather your kids know about it the safe way, or just be like, yo, I'm about to just try this and see how it work out? You know what I mean? So clearly the scare tactics are not working. If you just look at your kid and they ask you, mommy, where do kids come from? Or mommy, what's sex? And you just say, hey, pas jamais fait sex, okay? And you just get a pompe suyo. That's not going to really help the situation at all. If anything, it can worsen it. So, as I mentioned, for this season, it is all about difficult conversations. And I thought to myself, why not? What better topic to discuss than sex? Everyone tries to kind of scurry away from it and run away from it. It's a part of life. It's how we got here. Y'all, we need to talk about it a little bit more. I just truly believe people need to be more educated on it. And it's not even just kids. That's the crazy part. You would believe that as adults, a lot of us are well informed, but a lot of us are actually not well informed on the topic of sex. A lot of people just do it mindlessly and, are just out here just not really taking care of themselves in the way that they need to. And it's important. It's really important because a lot of the things that people are experiencing in terms of sex, whether it be emotional, mental, or physical, whatever the case might be, issues as far as, let's say, for example, you're with someone and they're not taking let's say it this way, they're not taking your pleasure seriously. That's something that's important in a relationship. It's important in general. Just taking care of your health in general, your pH balance, whether you're a man or woman. It's just so many different things that a lot of people don't know about and are ill-informed or not educated on. And I just truly believe this is a topic that's very important. So without further ado, let's truly dive into this conversation. So I'm someone, for those who don't know, I grew up in a seven family. Mes amis, gade ki j'aime pas parler jodi, hein? Hey, garon cause. Il va m'entraver à tête moi. Anyways, rewind. As a person who grew up in a Haitian Protestant, or whatever you want to call it, Christian, just simply Christian family. I was the youngest of 7 kids. And honestly, the topic of sex is not something that ever came up. In fact, it was one of those topics that you just kind of swept it under the rug or glossed over it. And if it was mentioned, it was made out to be something that's completely hands off until marriage, which, of course, if you do follow a Christian doctrine, that's something that is in the Bible, essentially. But I'm not going to really get into that right now. And I understand, like I said, if you really follow the Bible closely or other religions similar to Christianity, I understand why this would be the case, why sex is just like a hands off until marriage type of thing. But what I do believe is that by glossing over such an important topic, we as a community hurt our children more than we are helping them, right? So like I said, I'm the youngest of 7, meaning that, there was a lot of de sex going on. And someone in my family, I don't remember exactly who, but someone had about 10 kids. So like I said, once again, there was a lot of de sex going on. So with that being said, Haitians, not all, tend to have, a handful of children. If it's not, I don't really know many Haitian people or, fellow Haitian kids who have one sibling. I just don't know that. Like, I'm sitting here trying to actually think about it. I'm not one. Sorry. Yeah. Actually, yeah. Yeah, that's true. I'm really sitting here thinking, I'm like, of all my friends and trying to calculate everyone I know has, if not one or more siblings. And usually it's at least 2 siblings and up. Meaning it's either there's 3 kids, 5 kids, 7 kids, 10 kids. And I have known a family that had more than that. So with that being said, Haitians, we be out here, you feel me? We be out here, we be multiplying and just, doing what the Lord said to do. Multiplying, what is it? Replenish the earth and multiply, something like that. So I say all this to say, like, it's a surprise to me that people aren't really talking to their kids more about sex. I feel like it's a taboo topic that just ends up being basically disregarded. And I think it's because people are afraid or they feel awkward discussing it, which is why I feel like I said, once again, this is a perfect topic to discuss, right? So one thing I realized in the Haitian community, for example, is instead of discussing why someone shouldn't be doing something or how bad something is, we go straight to condemning them. And I believe a lot of us suffer from a God complex in that sense, where we feel that we have the right to judge and exile people. So here's what I realized. I actually did a little quick questionnaire on my Instagram, on the podcast Instagram, and I asked and you guys responded. Well, some of you all responded. Mostly women responded, not that many men. So I had to kind of pry and ask one of my best male friends and my brother for their responses. But yeah, so my questions were, what was the sex talk like with your parents? A lot of people said they did not have the sex talk. And my sister commented, she's like, girl, what sex talk? Another one I asked was, how do you feel like it helped your view on it? Do you feel like it helped your view on it or it hurt it? A lot of people, like I said there was no talk, or if there was, it was just a quick boom and that was it. So the first response that I received, not first response, these are actually not in any particular order, but one response I received was, I didn't have one, to be honest. I was basically told, don't bring any children home, from my mom. My dad never spoke to me about sex, period. And also it didn't help me much, but I do have a fear of having children because I'm almost certain I'd be on my own. And this was from one of my friends, Lance, who basically said his parents was just like, don't bring no kids here. And his dad didn't even acknowledge it. So it was just like, whatever. Another response was, sex is bad, period. Don't do it. They really took the beauty out of it for me. It took me a while not to feel guilt because it was so taboo. And that's from a follower, Gina. Third response, there was honestly no sex talk at all. All it was no boys until your girl moon. And honestly, that made me afraid of boys. It was as if they carried a disease. But if I think about it now, that flows right into sex. So in a sense, it kind of hurt my views on sex. It made it seem like it was something bad. Thank you, Joe, for that response. And then response number 4. That talk was nothing really. They put me in sex ed thinking that it would do the job for them. As you may know, sex ed in the South is basically the abstinence program, which for those who don't know, abstinence is just essentially saying don't have sex at all. Continuing on with the quote. So that wasn't helpful. And when I got my period, I was pretty much told you can get pregnant now. So be careful. It didn't really help. I happened to do a summer program where they invited Planned Parenthood out and I got a much better talk. I'm forever grateful for that because I know living in the South, that's very rare. Thank you, Sam. Shout out to my girl, Sam. The last response from my boy there. To my knowledge, I can't ever remember them ever really discussing the sex topic with any of us. I think because in Haitian culture, you always felt like a kid, and certain things you just never discussed with the adults until you reach a certain age. But even then, I question what age is the appropriate age. And I never received the talk from dad either. And as far as if it hurt or helped my views on sex, I'm neutral on whether it helped or hurt my views because mom and dad never gave the impression that sex was bad. To add, sex in Haitian culture is not promoted or blasted in front of us like the American culture, which is true. It seems more like it's discussed amongst people only in private. So I actually really liked what my brother said there because I do find that the topic is discussed when you're a little bit older, but it is kind of like more of a private thing, which is cool. That's fine. I don't think, you have to be all explicit and like all loud about what you're doing and stuff. If you do that, I do not judge. Because when it comes to my friends and I, we talk about all types of crazy stuff. So I said all of that. I shared all those responses with you all just to show you how much it can stick with someone if their parent either has the talk or does not have the talk. And if you see, let me go back up to one of the responses. So two of the responses that I really liked is when Gina said, sex is bad, period, don't do it, right? So in Creole, it would have been like, pa fe sex, c'est mauvais bagay ou pas supposé faire, pas faire, même, right? Just going off. And you're like, okay, I'll never do that. Now, when you do get older and you're like, you know what? I found somebody I love, whether I'm married or not. I'm not here to preach to anyone. You found someone you love. You think it's the right time and you do it. And now you're guilty. You feel guilty. You can never have sex in peace. Even when you're married, you might still have this thing in the back of your head kind of like, ooh, I'm not supposed to be engaging in this, right? So it comes down to the point where, in a sense, you're almost like mentally and emotionally scarred, where you're just kind of like, you hear your parents in the back of your head telling you not to do this thing. And this is why I'm trying to explain to Haitian parents and just parents in general, allow your kids to speak to you, talk to them, have these candid and open conversations with them. Communication is 100% key. If you're not having these conversations with these kids, trust and believe they're having this conversation with somebody else, somewhere else, whether it be at school, whether it be with their friends or whomever. Someone is going to speak to your kids about it, period. When I was in 4th grade, that's when I heard kids at the lunch table talking about sex and what it is, what it ain't, all this stuff. So of course, me being curious, I went online. I was like, well, dial up internet, boop, 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 boop. What's this about? Oh, okay. Well, this is interesting. I'm not gonna talk about why the internet was slow back in the day, but let's move on. So, and the other response by Joanne, where she says, there was no sex talk, and it came to the point where she felt like boys carried a disease, which, some of them do, a disease of the mind. But we're gonna move on from that. I'm joking, but no, seriously. So it hurt. She said it kind of hurt her views on sex because now she was just kind of like, oh, I don't really know how to engage. Like, how do I speak to boys or whatever the case might be, which I see a lot of people say that online where they go to school, they graduate, and then their parents are like, okay, so where's your ring? And you're like, wait a minute. You didn't even let me date or even talk about anything remotely related to romance. How do you expect me to date? I'm an awkward ass adult now. I do not know how these things work. And it's just, how am I going to get married? How? Tell me how. Que je m'appelle comme ça. Oudim boom parame. Anyways, so it's just kind of crazy. I'm like, Haitian parents really be on some contradictory stuff. Like, how do you expect me to now know how to function in romance? We never spoke about this. We didn't speak about sex, nothing. I don't have the tools. I don't know how this works. You know what I mean? And nobody wants to be in like a loveless marriage or loveless relationship and just be like, oh, well, I just got to get married, so I'm just going to get married. Like, no, right? So let's dive in even further into this topic. All right. Cause I'm about to dive in. Ooh, oh, yeah. I could have just played the song for y'all, but I don't feel like it. I know y'all like my voice though. Yeah, my voice sound good. Don't play. Yeah, I'm really over here having a good time. All right, so I did some more digging, parce que I'm nosy. I found some interesting statistics about the sex talk and why it's important for kids to have this discussion with their children. Okay, so for one, children need to be aware of the hard facts about sex because without it, they'll explore and sometimes end up hurt physically, emotionally, or even mentally. Take, for example, according to an article posted on Huffington Post by Vanessa Cullens called Why Parents Need to Talk talk with their kids about sex. So she said, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, African Americans ages 13 to 24 account for 56% of new HIV cases, which is a very high amount. That's more than half. But I will tell you guys, just, be aware, this article was posted in 2011, so the stats might be a little bit more updated or different. So, of course, you can do your research on your own as well. Continuing on with the quote, and nearly half of all African American girls between 14 and 19 are infected with a sexually transmitted infection such as chlamydia, herpes, or HPV. Now, I definitely do remember in high school, I don't think it was anyone I knew like that, but I heard many cases of people having STDs. Or matter of fact, no, I remember middle school, I did have a really good friend of mine who was telling me about how she got chlamydia, and I was like, whoa, hold on, you got too much dip on your chip, girl, what you doing? How you got chlamydia? In middle school, I didn't really know much about sex and all that stuff. I saw videos. That's a different story. But I didn't really know all the ins and outs. So I was just kind of whoa, I don't know what's going on, girl. It wasn't until high school that I kind of knew more and, yeah, experienced more. So moving along, when you got family listening to this, you just you're not trying to expose yourself, so I gotta, be careful with what I'm saying. But my point is, think about this. This is an alarming rate for 56% of new HIV cases to be 13 to 24-year-olds. The information is out there. The prevention is out there. There's too much stuff out here for this rate to be so high. And I truly, truly believe that it starts at home. When we have these conversations with our family, it's, first of all, you're in a safe place, I would hope. You should try to create a safe space for your kids where they feel open, that they can be honest with you about certain things. Of course, they don't have to get all explicit and be like, "Ooh, ma, I saw this boy and he was so fine and I was trying to get him and do this and do that." You don't have to be like that. But tell your kids, hey, whatever. I just remember one thing is in high school, my mom and I used to fight like cats and dogs. My parents were separated. So it was just a lot. That's a whole different thing that I'm going to talk about in another episode. But my childhood, very interesting. Anyway, so she and I would fight so much. And it's now that I realize she was really trying to protect me, of course. But at the same time, the conversations were never a clear communication conversation. It was just kind of this is what it is and this is what it's not. And I didn't like that. I've always been a rebel in my head, or just kind of you can't tell me what to do. Legit, as a kid in my head, I was I'm going by Tavel. And I know that's a bad mindset, but that's legit how I felt. I was just kind of because my parents and I have a very weird, not weird relationship, but it's just it's not I would say it's not like my siblings and them. I feel we were more on a level where it was kind of a friendship. And it's strange to say that because I'm the youngest, but maybe that's it. And I think that's why my siblings call me spoiled. But I just felt, even now, certain things I'll say to my mom or my dad, it's just, people are wait, what? Because my mom and I be on the phone, we be cussing. I cuss with my dad. He doesn't cuss that much, but still, it's just there's just certain things. So when you create that space for your kids and make them feel make them feel comfortable and as if they can speak to you, they're going to speak to you. But and I'm not to say you have to create exactly a friendship with them, but create a space where they feel comfortable enough to bring something to you if they need to, right? Because let's say, for example, you're a kid whose parents just told you no sex, period, sex is bad, but you're not given the hard facts about why it might be bad. You go exploring without knowledge of STDs, anything like that. Now you might end up being the victim of one of those diseases, and now you're sitting here suffering in silence without knowledge that you're sick. And imagine you're probably not even in high school yet, so you're you really don't know what's going on. Because I think in high school, we have more of an understanding what's going on. But what if you had that space before to speak with your parents? You could have asked them or discuss, hey mom, hey dad, I was thinking about this thing, or I heard this and you want to know more information. Or if you're sick, you can be like, hey mom, I really need to go to the doctor. But if you just had sex, you knew you weren't supposed to be doing that. Whatever your genitals or whatever. And now you're dang, I don't know how I'm gonna get rid of this. I gotta tell my parents, but you're afraid. So granted, if you have a good relationship with your school nurse or something, there's probably a way to get around this. But I'm saying all this to give you guys examples of why it's important to have these conversations with your children. And another thing is, I just feel like talking about anything that is deemed a difficult conversation is important, because with dialogue, we have a chance to educate one another and or ask much needed questions. Only then are we able to truly feel comfortable expressing ourselves completely. And one thing I found in that same article is that parents who are talking to their kids about topics related to sexuality agree that they're more influential in the decision their kids make about sex. So they feel, more confident, like, okay, my kids know this, and I'm confident that they'll make the best decision for themselves. And this also includes whether they want to engage in it or they don't. But at least they have that knowledge. So if something bad happens, they're prepared, or they know how to handle that situation. You hear that? So when you have a real discussion with your children about sex, that is usually when you can have a positive impact on their choices. Most of the time when you don't speak to them, or you speak to them in such a way that they feel upset or like scared, then it's usually going to be a negative outcome for the most part. All right. So screaming at them is not going to help. I found some other things on that article, but I really don't feel like talking y'all ears off. And, I could always post the link of the article in the description box below. So I'm just going to go ahead and move on to more of the mental impact, I would say, which I feel like I've already touched on. But I think a huge misstep or error within our culture, within Haitian culture specifically, is when it comes to either having or not having a sex talk with our children, is that we leave room for major confusion and curiosity. Kids are curious beings. And, just as humans in general, we are curious, right? It's just human nature, period. You tell someone not to do something, or you scream about it being so bad, they're going to be intrigued, like I said earlier. Mentally, kids can become worried, anxious, and even afraid. Some may even become very daring, and they're like, oh, well, she told me not to do it, so let me see how it goes. I'm going to try this anyways, whatever. And on the flip side, it can cause issues where kids now don't have the tools, so now they're engaging in risky sex practices, which these risky sex practices can lead to emotional and mental scarring depending on who they're engaging with, what's going on, and, confusion about if their body is changing, all these different things. And all these things can eventually just impact their mental health, which to me is something that's very, very important in our culture. And we need to learn how to really address these issues. So yeah. And honestly, guys, when you really think about it, sex can truly be a beautiful thing between individuals who love each other. Whether or not you believe it should be strictly within a marriage is totally up to your religious beliefs. And like I said before, I'm not going to go there right now. But my point is, by the time your child grows up, they're now afraid of their sexuality and maybe begin expressing their sexual frustration in ways that are even more detrimental than just having sex at a young age, right? So by just basically telling kids to be abstinent, according to this one article I read by Laura Lindbergh, it says it's just not realistic. It leaves our young people without the information and skills that they need. So it brings back to what my friend Sam said about the abstinence program she took, her parents had enrolled her in. Basically, just simply telling someone not to do something is not going to assist them. Because now, like I said, when they get curious and they try, these things can happen that can end up hurting them more than helping them. So another thing Laura Lindbergh said in that article is, we fail our young people when we don't provide them with complete and medically accurate information. If you are simply saying, like on the Mean Girls, like the coach said, don't have sex because you'll get pregnant and you'll die. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, can we discuss this a little further? Damn, son. But yeah, so it's like we need to talk, guys. Faut nous parler de sex. It's okay. It's a part of human nature. This is how we got here. Do you think people just really went to the stork? No, ain't no damn stork. Like, that's such a stupid story. Like, babies don't but just pop up out of nowhere. Like, God don't drop them from the sky. Like, if he was, then, I probably have a few right now. Because, I don't know about that childbirth thing. Childbearing is, chilly. I don't know how y'all do it, to be honest. But, anyways, so honestly, our takeaway today, and I guess I can call it our call to action is, look, I know people may be thinking, oh, Sophonie, well, you don't even have kids, so what do you know, right? And you know what? You're absolutely right. Like, I just have nieces and nephews. That's it. But there's many reasons why I don't have kids right now. Among them, because I'm not married. I really do. If I do have kids, I want to be married. Because I don't really feel like any man is really worth my time having any kids right now. Well, not necessarily like that. But anyways, that's a whole different story for another day. But one thing I do know for sure is I'll never leave the show without trying to pass on some actual steps to be taken to help invoke change in some way. My goal is to always impart some wisdom on you all as much as I can, right? So how can you make things less awkward, for example, with your kids, whether this conversation, like I said, it can be your kids, younger siblings, cousins, whoever it is that is in your care or you feel needs to have this conversation. Here are some ways that you can go ahead and discuss different things with them. Actually help your child in terms of talking to them about sex. I found an article which is called 6 Strategies to Help Parents Communicate About Sex by Dr. Kate Roberts on Psychology Today. So how can you make it less awkward? One thing she says is talk openly and honestly, answer your kids' questions. Remember I said questions are important, and seize opportunities to help them make smart decisions about their relationships and behavior. She even says that as early as age 6 or 7, these discussions can be happening. And then when they reach puberty and so on and so forth, discuss love, relationships, respect, and just, move on, and teaching teens how to say no to sex and all of those things. It's very important to also, this is coming from me, to discuss, well, she mentioned something similar, but to discuss consent, which I don't know how to really say it in Creole. I would have to Google it again. Consent basically is when it's 2 adults who are consenting to a sexual relationship with one another. They're agreeing that both parties want to have sex. That is what consensual sex is, right? Which I guess technically, teenagers who want to engage as well, I guess it technically is consensual as well, as long as there's no one else who's forcing someone else. So that's just what it is. But mostly, like, when we do talk about consent, we're talking about 2 adults, just because, obviously we would prefer it be adults who are more mature and understand what they're doing to be engaging in this. But yeah, so like I said, teach kids about consent. Teach them that if someone does not want to be touched or they're telling you not to do it, you don't do it. This is especially important for our young boys and for our young girls as well. I actually will be having a episode that's going to be discussing sexual assault, and I'll get more into like what consent is and like in relation to the Haitian community and all that other stuff as well. So I won't go in too much right now, but I did want to go ahead and read some things from that article really quick. So the first thing she says to help teach your kids about sexuality and just sex in general is to start young. Like I said, parents can talk with children ages 3 to 5 by naming their body parts, and then you can segue into how adults have babies together. So like, it depends on your comfort level and as well as the kid. If the kid doesn't really know what you're talking about, maybe don't start too young, because some kids are not as mature as other ones. Like some kind of pick up things quicker. So if they're kind of like, I don't really know what you're talking about, then it's like, okay, well, we'll talk about this another time. She also says when they get a little bit older, you can begin discussing masturbation or whatever, which I know some people are like, ew, oh my God, like, what are you talking about? You're not supposed to do that. But it's just like, it happens. It's a part of life. People do it. Kids do it. So wouldn't you much rather discuss and teach them, like, not teach them how to do it, that's weird, but like discuss that this is a normal part of life. It happens, whatever. Number 2, talk about sexuality in everyday life. Our media is overflowing with sexuality, and parents can use movies, television, and magazines just to kind of assist them with understanding sexuality. And one thing I always say is, these fast food commercials are extremely over sexualized. Like, you ever see them pouring like like a cup of Coke onto the ice, and then the ice is looking all like beautiful, sitting there glistening and sexy, and you just like, whoa, like this ice could get it, you know what I mean? So it's just like, literally, sex sells. Like, it's a part of everything that we do. Makeup commercials, liquor commercials, just literally everything, anything you can think of. Like, watch a commercial right now and tell me you don't see something that's sexual about it. Trust me, it's probably in there or like in the background. Number 3, parents need to be open and honest about sexuality with their children. Be authentic and accurate and convey values regarding sexuality. Now, if you have, some past trauma and things like that, it is important for you to, be comfortable with your own sexuality, which actually segues into number 4. She does say parents need to be comfortable with their own sexuality. If they have a history of abuse or unresolved sexual conflicts, we do recommend therapy or, whatever it is that you need to be able to get over that and heal and cope, right? So number 5, parents can learn by listening to what their children have to say. The more parents can hear their children's thoughts, the more they're going to be able to guide them appropriately regarding sex. Let me say it again for the Haitians in the back. Parents can learn by listening to what their children have to say. I know, it sounds crazy. Haïtien pas jamais besoin d'entendre ça ti moun yo ap di. But it is important. Faut nous commencer à penser à parler à ti moun yo et puis tendre ça ti moun yo ap di. Parce que même si ou senti comme si pas besoin d'entendre ça un tel ap di, c'est moi qui grand moun barre ta avec ou même qui c'est ti moun moi. Okay, cool. That's cool, right? But now we have two people in the house who are like feuding. You know what I mean? So learn to listen to kids. For the most part, kids, yeah, we may not know what we're saying at a certain age, which is true. My dad used to say, I'm trying to remember the Haitian phrase he would always say, bouche comme un senti, mais c'est vérité que la donne. And he used to say that to me, which basically means the mouth of an adult. Oh, I don't even know how to say this without sounding weird. The mouth of an adult smells bad, but it's truth that's in it. So in Creole, it sounds so much better. But basically, it's just saying like, yeah, like kids don't want to hear adults, but what we're saying is the truth. So I used to flip it on him and say it, but saying it with kids. So I would say, bouche ti moun senti, mais c'est vérité que la donne. So he used to be like, oh, okay, so you want to flip the phrase on me. And I'm like, yeah, like kids have truth to say too. So it's like, it's important to listen to your kids as well. Number 6, always get clarification for understanding. When discussing sexuality with children, parents should not assume children understand what parents are trying to communicate. Okay, so like I said, if the kids don't know what you're talking about, you can kind of just, be like, okay, well, this is something we can discuss another time, right? So I'm going to go ahead and stop talking all in you guys' ears. I actually need to go make a call and I'm going to be back on recording. But before we do that, so I really hope that you all were able to learn something today. Please share this with someone else. It's very important, whether it be an older Haitian parent who may still have younger kids, or take this information and use it for your own children. I truly believe the next generation of Haitians worldwide are going to have a reformed mentality, and I think our children will be better informed about certain topics. They'll be better at communicating with one another, and just so many more things. So let this be one of the ways we started. Honestly, having this episode being about sex helped me step outside of my comfort zone. Like I said, I'm the youngest of 7, so I'm viewed as the baby. So I'm still one of the younger ones in my family as a whole, minus, the younger generation of kids. But for 2019, I'm embracing different. I want to talk about these things because without them, people are running and hiding. But transparency is such a beautiful thing. Like, be more transparent. You know what I mean? It's just very important. Very, very important to me. All right, before we head out for the day, I have a very, very special guest who wants to speak to you guys. So I hope you all are excited like I am. She actually wanted to be on the last episode, well, the last season, sorry, and I didn't let her, so she's excited. But yeah. Mes amis, woy, gade moun yo ki jan yo bel. Auntie, is nobody here right now. We're on the podcast. You can't. Ki sa wap di la? Ba komon sa podcast la sali. Radio? Ba men ba radio. Ki jan dil? It's a pod. It's like. Okay. Na pale de sa apre. Okay, tande. Jodi an, nièce mwen vin la, li pale avec nous, li pale de sexe. Jodi an, m'da reme pou m'pale avec tout parents yo. Calme tous, ok? Faut nous commencer par la ti moun yo. Nou pa ka kite ti yon pile vie maladie nan le monde là. Faut nous commencer par la ti moun yo. Embrasser ti moun yo. Di ti moun lan ou love yo, ou reme yo. Faut parler avec yo. Là ou parler avec ti moun yo, ou gen bon communication avec yo. C'est pour bien yo ap fait. Et pas pour mal yo ap fait. Là ou di ti moun lan ou gen tan di yo, pas fait sexe, pas fait ça. C'est là. Est-ce qu'on comprend la paix de ti moun lan vrai? Est-ce qu'on comprend la paix de ti moun vrai? Mandez-moi, répondez-moi s'il vous plaît. Il pas paix de ti moun vrai. Faut que nous joignons gens pour nous parler avec ti moun yo, pour nous chita sur ti moun là, on parle avec yo, di yo, mais c'est comme ça ba yo fait. Pas capé de di ti moun yo, pas fait ça. Ti moun à l'école, ou connaît ti moun yo, depuis yo vinn États-Unis, yo gâté ti moun yo dans l'école là. Yo parle de n'importe vieux bagay, ti moun a fume crack. Qui fait sexe, on n'est pas de vieux bail. Donc, faut que nous parlons avec Timonio. Si vous parlez avec Timonio, il y a l'autre monde qui parle avec Timonio quand même. Vous comprenez moi? Donc, je ne vais pas quitter nous trop longtemps parce que faut mal faire une commission là pour moun. N'a parlé, m'a boire nous l'autre lait. Que bon Dieu béni ou. Amen. Palaktimunu. Bye-bye. Alrighty, I hope that you all enjoyed Tati Soso's Corner. She will be back on another episode, and hopefully you guys will be able to see her in person one of these days. Alrighty, thank you all for tuning into S'ak Pase with Sophonie. I hope to hear from you all on your feedback about today's episode. Please make sure to subscribe, and please rate this episode 5 stars only. Thank you. And make sure to follow me on Instagram at Just Sophonie. That's JUSTSOPHONIE. Follow the podcast, THAD.podcast. Don't follow me on Twitter because I'm wretched. Alrighty. Bye. Love everyone. Have a splendid, wonderful, marvelous week. Bye-bye. Thank you guys for tuning in to S'ak Pase with Sophonie. Until next time, have a good one.